And welcome back to Maine East High School in Park Ridge as we settle in for the sectional semifinal game between the Trevians and the Vikings. Tonight's game is being brought to you by Xfinity. Get the internet speed and TV channels you want at a price you'll love. Find out how to get up to 5 lines of unlimited nationwide talk and text at no extra cost with Xfinity Mobile. Call 1-800-XFINITY today. Well, opening day just around the corner. You can check out CubsCon 2018, which takes a look at all of the charitable events that your favorite Cubs players from the past and present participated in this year. We also head down to the Cubs Convention, which is always a great place to meet players, coaches, and fans ramping up for the 2018 season. You can view this program on CN100 or check it out on demand under Get Local CN100 Sports Features. X1 users look for Get Local under the Xfinity Services tab. Take a look at the brackets, and in the Maine East 4A sectional, and you see Niles North advancing, winning their regional championship by knocking off St. Viator. New Trier knocked off Prospect, and congratulations to Evanston Township. They beat the number 4 seed Loyola Academy last night. So Friday night it will be Evanston against the winner of tonight's sectional semifinal game. There's a look at your 3 officials. You see Mark Gladys on the right. He usually teams up with his brother, but I was talking to Mark and his daughter. Yeah, his daughter Marissa is now officiating, and I've seen all 3 of them officiate one game. So we got a good crew here tonight, Cameron.
Well, it's in their blood. I mean, if daddy's doing it, son jumping in, and now the daughter, it's a family business right there.
You got it. Starting lineups, New Trier, the home team, they'll be in the white. Niles North, the visitors, will be in the purple. You see the starting lineups for Niles North on the left. All seniors except for Aquan Smart. He is a sophomore. And then for New Trier, Brayboy and Bame. Boy, those 2 guys return next year. Those 2 are juniors this year.
Scary. I mean, you're talking about guys that are 6'8", 6'9", and as we mentioned in our open, Mark, Scott Fricky has the size of a Division I college basketball team. And if you look at New Trier on paper and you compare them to a lot of Division I teams and maybe stripped away the team names and look and say, hey, man, this is 2 Division I teams going against each other. Well, no, one of them is a high school team.
A capacity crowd on hand here tonight as we settle in. It'll be Brayboy and Barif Smith to jump center, and we are off and running here at Maine East.
Always these fill-out minutes between 2 teams, especially at this stage. Both teams want to feel each other out, see what's working, see if anyone has changed their approach. As we mentioned, both of these teams, some great games in the CSL South, so they know the personnel, they know the system that each one plays, so it's all about making plays tonight.
3 ball in the corner, rims in and out by Barif Smith, but Claiborne gets an offensive rebound.
I'll tell you what, Mark, if the Vikings can do that, that'll be huge for them in this ball game. Offensive rebounds are not easy against the size of New Trier.
3 ball attempt, Stevenson, that one rims out, and the rebound to Brayboy.
Brayboy just clearing space with that size. Too many guys are going to get around him when that ball goes up off the glass.
These 2 teams played each other twice during the regular season, of course, conference games. First game back on January 9th. New Trier winning that game 60-58. Brayboy with a tip-in with a couple seconds left. Brayboy finished with 19 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 blocks in that game. Right baseline shot is off by Ryan, and it goes out of bounds to the Trevians.
Good possessions offensively for New Trier. Just trying to calm the nerves right now in this opening quarter.
Second meeting was on February 19th, just a couple of weeks ago. Here's a steal, and it's Stevenson. Count it, and he'll look to complete the 3-point play.
Well, Mark, we hear coaches say all the time, the little plays killed us. That's what hurt us. Those are the little plays. New Trier not understanding, or everyone not on the same page on that inbounds play. And you see this ball just goes and turns it over from Kilpatrick, and there's Stevenson with the layup with the and one. So again, this stage of the state tournament, you can't allow those little small plays add up. So they'll end up costing you. You never know if 2 points will decide a ball game. And as you mentioned, Mark, their first meeting this season, 2 points did decide the outcome of it. And New Trier was on the winning side.
There's going to be a foul called here against Aquan Smart. Second meeting, Cameron, was back on February 19th, and Niles North won that game 78-65. But getting back to that first meeting, Cameron, which New Trier won, the Trevians, they won despite committing 25 turnovers in that game. They need to cut down on that tonight.
Yes, they do, and 25 turnovers almost unheard of, but here's their second of the first quarter, and that is a nice little jelly fam layup from Javon Claiborne.
And that bucket puts the Vikings up 4-0.
New Trier uncharacteristically turning this ball over, just careless turnovers in this first quarter. And there's another.
Grayboy couldn't get a grip on it. 3 turnovers so far here for New Trier.
Niles North is capitalizing. You see their approach off of those turnovers. They want to go right away in transition.
17 turnovers in the second meeting for the Trevians. So the combined 2 regular season games, New Trier with, 42 turnovers.
So it's safe to say that Niles North knows the weakness of the Trevians. Get a second look at Javon Claiborne, getting that little jelly on that layup. Nice little side step. I see you, Javon.
Claiborne hits the triple.
He's in his bag right now, Mark. It's early in this ball game, but it's 7-0 Niles North in this opening quarter.
Well, that's what the Vikings do. They go on spurts. All 7 points off of Trevian turnovers.
The Trevians are just confused offensively.
Let's go to Eric Schmidt. Eric.
Guys, as you see the bucket go in there, that's exactly the turnovers are exactly what head coach Scott Fricke said he was worried about and exactly what they've been working on this week. It helps that have a familiar foe, and he said the live ball turnovers are really what keys this Niles North offense, and again, what he said they had been working on the entire time preparing for this game.
Grayboy's field goal puts New Trier on the board. Here's a 3-ball by Stevenson, and that's good.
That's great offense from the Vikings. That ball moving around the perimeter the entire time. Stevenson buries that 3, his 5th point.
Hot shooting for Niles North. Both Stevenson and Claiborne each with 5 points. Good start for the Vikings. That 3-ball is off the mark by Conahan. Put back though, Grayboy. Boy, that's what Curon does so well. Battles on the offensive glass. His 3rd rebound already.
Well, he's just going to take bodies up with him on this replay. Get a second look, and this is Javon Claiborne. That 3-pointer pulls up, and you get a guy that can score the basketball in a nice, comfortable rhythm early, and it could be lights out. And we haven't really mentioned Demaria Franklin in this ballgame. He was our featured player, but Claiborne and Stevenson have taken over the scoring responsibilities early.
Grayboy averaging nearly 11 points per game, 70% free throw shooter on the year. Second free throw is up, and it's good. So all 3 points by Grayboy.
Seeing a number of Division I college coaches in attendance tonight, and you wouldn't blame them. A lot of talent on this court.
Oh, yeah.
Great size. Guys that can play with their size. Our former college SIU, Salukis in the building, scouting, trying to get somebody down there in Carbondale. I know they have Sam Schaefer from Lincoln Way East coming down there next year.
Yeah. Kirkpatrick missed the 3, but Conahan tracked it down. Kirkpatrick, he was a 2-guard, Cameron, through his sophomore year. They converted him to the point guard, and his putback is short. And he's really done a nice job at the point guard. He got in the weight room and did whatever the Trevians asked of him. Last 2 years, he has been the point guard for New Trier.
It just speaks to his willingness and his ability just to give up his own dreams and aspirations to go to the 2-guard and get a lot of shots up to switch over to the point and run Scott Fricke's offense.
His dad, Kip, by the way, went to Northwestern back in the early 90s. So, you know, he is used to a lot of basketball through his years.
Yes.
All right, Franklin on the move. Puts up the shot, no, and Grayboy with the rebound.
Franklin a little off balance after he got created contact to get that floater up.
And a steal, another turnover for the Trevians. Here's Franklin in the open floor, and the foul is going to be called on Griffin Ryan. Bit of body right there, so Niles North will come to the line here to shoot 2.
I mean, Mark, you rarely see Demaria Franklin just get knocked off his course, and that time Griffin Ryan trying to do anything to prevent Franklin from getting a bucket and ends up fouling him. But as we touched on in the open, I mean, you get a look at this young man's shoulders at the free throw line. He's a legit 6'2", and I would throw maybe about at least 200 pounds on him. Great size and moves well with that size with the basketball, especially. Well, you haven't seen him in the open court. He is explosive.
You see number 20 in for New Trier, Sam Silverstein. Miles Davis checks in for the Vikings. (11-3), favor of Niles North.
For those wondering, it's not the Miles Davis.
Right.
Miles.
Missed by Franklin. The putback goes good. Barif Smith with the putback, and a timeout taken by New Trier and Scott Fricky.
Demarion Barif Smith battling two Trevians to get that shot up. And he's dealing with a little hand injury. You see that left wrist heavily taped, but he just finds a way to get himself in this ball game.
8 of the 13 points for Niles North coming off of turnovers. Game of the week closes out coverage of the Maine East 4A sectional with the championship matchup. Tune in on Saturday, March 10th at noon and 4 p.m. to see who will advance to the super sectional round. You can catch the game later in the week in HD, on demand under Get Local, CN100, Game of the Week. X1 users look for Get Local under the Xfinity Services tab. And it will be an all Central Suburban South sectional championship game. Evanston against the winner of this Niles North New Trier semifinal.
Oh, Evanston, Niles North, New Trier. It seemed like they just welcomed Loyola into the Central Suburban South. Like, yeah, come on, guys, you can join us in our little mini conference sectional here. I'll tell you what, a lot of people are anticipating a certain matchup, and we know what that matchup is, Evanston, New Trier. And if it turns out to be that, then Maine East has a problem on their hands, because you know that people are going to file out for that game, and it's going to be literally standing room only. But Niles North says, hey, it could be very well be us in Evanston on Friday as well. Stevenson going to get himself to the free throw line again. Another Trevian's turnover leading to positive results for Niles North. Their 5th turnover of this first quarter. Stevenson again.
3:23 left in the quarter. So what you're saying, Cameron, is they're going to need a bigger gym.
Yes.
For Friday. Jamal Stevenson to shoot 2. Nice first quarter he has had so far. Well, most of the scoring is going to come from those 4 starting seniors. There's no question about it. That regional championship win against St. Viator, the 4 starting seniors scored all but 11 points against St. Viator in that game.
It's just the older guys telling the younger guys, look, we'll let you contribute at some point, but this is all us.
Another turnover. It's Stevenson and a foul. They say that Kirkpatrick hacked him on the arm, and boy, Coach Fricky having a nightmare start to this game.
Well, Mark, I believe these are going to be the 5th and 6th free throws of this first quarter for Jamal Stevenson. It's almost like deja vu. His last trip to the line was him driving to the basket, getting hit on the arm. He's going to try and make both. He split the pair in his last trip to the line. But again, this is very uncharacteristic of New Trier, but I'll tell you what, there's a lot of basketball to be played, especially between yesterday's game, Evanston, Loyola. Evanston got out to that hot start. Loyola chipped away, and then in the third quarter found themselves back within the ball game. So don't think this thing is over if it's 16-3 right now. New Trier is a really good team, and they're going to battle back.
New Trier with 11 possessions, 6 turnovers, and only 1 basket by Brayboy so far, as we are under 3 minutes here in this opening quarter. Ryan dumping it inside to Brayboy, knocked away by Niles North, and boy, the Vikings just seem to be a bit quicker tonight so far, Cameron.
Yes, Scott Freaky believes that was a foul on that high-low pass from Ryan down to Brayboy.
Well, the tempo certainly in favor of Niles North. They want to push it up a little bit, get New Trier out of its half-court set.
You see the pressure defensively. They're doing a lot of denying a lot of passes. You see the ball pressure, tracing the basketball, high hands every time someone catches. And Brayboy gets challenged by 2 Vikings. He's going to get to the free throw line.
Nice pass from Ryan to get it inside to Brayboy. And Brayboy with a chance to put a couple points on the board from the free throw line.
Good look at Trevian's head coach, Scott Fricky. Brayboy is going to attempt his first free throw. But it's been impressive with Griff Ryan and Brayboy, how they work together with that high-low.
First free throw by Brayboy is missed. Boehm is going to come in for Brayboy. Scott Fricky, 10 years at New Trier. He's looking for his 200th career win as the head coach of the Trevians. Currently 199 wins, 91 defeats at New Trier.
Scott Fricky and I have some history. Back in my time at Gordon Tech in 2002, we lost to New Trier in the sectional semis at York High School. Scott Fricky was an assistant coach under Rick Malnati, the current Fenwick head coach. And Rick is in the gym now watching this game.
About 30 feet away from us, right? Former New Trier head coach, now a great coach at Fenwick.
True indeed. Scott and I had a good laugh about that when I brought it up.
Stevenson's 3 is missed. Kirkpatrick got the rebound. Behind the back dribble. In transition, lays it off to Conahan, who missed the shot.
You got to finish those bunnies if you're Conahan. Look at Claiborne again, doesn't get the finish on the sweep move.
Went to the left hand, could get there. Silverstein with the rebound, and now a block will be called on Claiborne for Drayvon, his first.
What I like about New Trier, although they're turning the basketball over, they're not timid with their moves. And that's going to be a blocking call all day long for Claiborne. Wasn't set, still moving to the left, trying to impede the progress of Kirkpatrick. Scott Fricky going back to his bench, trying to find someone to give his Trevians any energy to finish off this first quarter.
Matt Samuelson into the game, number 24, a 6'3" senior.
So Mark Cladis over by the Niles North bench, telling them to back up a little bit. I know you guys are excited. You're talking on the bench. You're jumping up and down. You're up by 12, but let's move those seats back to the stands so we don't get anyone hurt on the court.
Kirkpatrick on the drive. No shot. It was on the drive. It's going to be on Miles Davis. It's his first. It's the 5th team foul for the Vikings. Both teams average 69 points per game. Trevian's 24-5. Niles North 26-4. Boehm makes the move, beautifully done, and he gets the bucket.
Very nice. He looked like his older sister Jeannie on that move. Nice little shoulder fake to the right, step through with the left, and a sweeping right hook.
Well, he is the 6th and final Boehm to come through New Trier.
I am surprised there are not more.
I know. You mentioned Jeannie. She's an All-American at New Trier. She now is playing at Harvard.
Well, these are the 3 names that I remember in high school basketball because there were so many of them. The Boehms, the Negos, and also the T-Landers from Brother Rice. It seemed like every year there was a T-Lander or a Boehm or a Nego on someone's roster in IHSA basketball.
Well, let me just finish Spencer. We talked about his sister, his brothers, Peter, Connor, Jack, and Mike. And Spencer Boehm is the 6th and final Boehm to come through New Trier.
I wonder what those one-on-one tournaments are like between the Boehm and I'm pretty sure Jenny wins them all.
Yeah. 3-on-3 too, right?
Yes. She was a McDonald's All-American a couple of years ago.
Well, there's a turnover. 2nd turnover for the Vikings here tonight.
Those watching this broadcast, especially our young viewers, when you're down big in a ball game, especially when it's early, you want to chip away at your opponent's lead. It comes with a stop here, a bucket there. Good possession here, even if the shot doesn't go down, you want to make sure that you're running smooth offense, and that's what New Trier is trying to do now. It's a 10-point deficit, 57 seconds left, but at the same time, they're doing a good job of not letting this thing get way out of hand.
Omar Polacap, number 10, is into the game for the Vikings. You see the time winding down, 44 seconds to go to the quarter. Brayboy, and he got hit on the arm. I think they're going to say it was before the shot. So it's the 6th team foul for the Vikings. Foul is on number 10, that's Polacap, his first. Kirkpatrick to inbound. Oh, Brayboy was wide open underneath. Now they get it to him. put up a shot, hit the underneath the backboard. Here come the Vikings. Nothing there, so Smart will pull it out and go for the last shot.
Well, that was a very smart move by Smart, wouldn't
Well,
you say?
yeah, Quan, he's only a sophomore, and he knows his time will come. He's developed into a pretty good defender over the years.
Yes, he has. Very vocal guy. Even in warm-ups, he's shouting out the direction for his team. Tell him to switch to layups, individual shooting, stretch. He's already a leader as a sophomore.
10-point lead for the Vikings. They'll wind it down here, go for the last shot. Down to 7. They need to get into it here. Good pass inside. Butler, the freshman, and that 3 is missed. So we have played 1 quarter of basketball here at Maine East. The number 3 seed Vikings lead the number 2 seed Trevians by a score of 16-6. Xfinity On Demand presents Prep Profile and insights into today's high school student athletes. Here's a sneak peek at Demarie Franklin of Niles North.
When I hit my 1,000-point mark in the Martin Luther King tournament, I say a week before we played Niles West at home. It's a great achievement because it showed like how much work I put into playing for Niles North High School and like all the hard work I did to get to that point.
To view Demarie's entire profile, go to On Demand, click Get Local, and then CN100. X1 users start at the Xfinity Services tab. Well, Cameron, that first quarter, Jamal Stevenson, half of the Vikings' points. He had 8 of the Vikings' 16.
And a lot of those points came off turnovers. Jamal in the passing lanes, getting some easy steals, got himself to the free throw line. It's a young man, very long, and he's a lefty. And you know I love left-handed players. It's just a smoothness that they bring to the court. If you look at that shot in that huddle there, former Vikings player Malachi Nix is on the coaching staff for Glenn Olson. How much of a luxury is that when you have a guy like Malachi Nix that was one of the best guards in the state of Illinois teaching your players how to get buckets?
Oh, man. Tons of knowledge there. Glenn Olson, by the way, 2 years as the head coach at Maine East and now 9 years here at Niles North, the all-time winningest coach at Niles North.
Well-deserved, too.
Yeah.
Runs this program like a well-oiled machine. Have a lot of individual skill work throughout the summertime and preaches the team aspect for his players so they can play for each other.
Good save that time as they get it back into Stevenson. Talked to him this week. I said, any chance you guys going to play zone against the taller new? He said, no. We don't play zone here at Niles. That's a 4-letter word.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to Olson's just kind of forward thinking. He wants to challenge his players. He doesn't want to let them off the hook.
Yeah.
Especially if these guys have aspirations of playing Division I college basketball. You can't just sit in the zone and expect to be a good defender. You have to get out there and move your feet as Stevenson launches another 3, doesn't get it to go. But look at Claiborne.
And another opportunity for Niles North.
I mean, Mark, you are seeing 4 purple jerseys hit that glass hard.
4 offensive rebounds already so far for Niles North. 1 minute gone by here in the second quarter. Mark Kerr, Cameron Smith, Eric Schmidt, and our entire CN100 crew. 3 ball by Polacap. There's a loose ball, and it's going to be a held ball here between Butler, the freshman, and Spencer Bain.
The Trevians are wishing that there was a shot clock in high school basketball in Illinois because this trip on the defensive end for them that seemed like it's been for forever.
Griffin Ryan, number 42, back in for New Trier. The man with the 2 first names.
See the Trevians go a little man-to-man underneath out of bounds, so they come out of that 1-3-1 zone that they've played the majority of this first half. Good block,
block
right
by
there.
Silverstein. Wow. Here's Kirkpatrick looking to push.
Nice pass
Gets it
ahead.
inside. Bain got good position. Oh, but he traveled. Does he say, oh no, okay, I thought he said travel. Mark Clattis, I thought he made the traveling move, but instead, it's going to be on a block.
Spencer thought the same thing. He looked at Mark Clattis saying, wait a minute. He had my arm. But look at Silverstein on that block. Telling Claiborne, hey man, I'm tired of you making layups. Let's provide some resistance at that rim when you go up. Great timing.
Franklin, by the way, with the foul, Cameron. That is number 2 on him. And Spencer Bain to the line. Missed. Putback, though, is good by Ryan.
Griff Ryan working the glass, and Scott Fricky calls this young man the glue guy to their team. He can be plugged into any spot or position for the Trevians and produce.
New Trier has scored the last 6 points of this game going back to the end of the first quarter, so they're making some headway here, trailing by just 8. 3-ball by Claiborne is good.
Claiborne again taking the scoring responsibilities over with the struggling DeMaria Franklin as the Vikings call timeout.
Timeout Vikings as Claiborne hits his second from downtown. He's got 8. Let's take another look at the triple by Claiborne.
I mean, their ball movement has been impressive all night long, especially in this first half, and Claiborne just dials it right up. So New Trier just a little slow in their closeout. Silverstein a little late, and Claiborne dots his I.
First points of the second quarter by that 3 for Claiborne as we take a look at the team stats for the Vikings.
And one thing that scares me about Niles North, and if they want to continue on in the state tournament, is free throw percentage. 63% from the line. We know that free throws win ball games, especially at this stage. You got to get to the line and knock them down.
We saw a Lincoln Way East team last week. As a team, they shoot over 81% from the free throw line as a team. So, yeah, that can win and lose ball games down the stretch, as you know.
And it's the same thing for New Trier. They're shooting a little bit better, maybe a percent better at 64. But you got to get to the line and knock them down.
Niles North looking for its first sectional title since 2011. Here's Kirkpatrick getting into the front court.
Think about all of the players that have come out of the program at Niles North.
Yeah. And stepping out of bounds, turnover number 7 for the Trevians. Claiborne stepped out of bounds.
And just recently, one of their former players was playing at the United Center, Abdul Nader, playing for the Boston Celtics. Saw him at the United Center getting some time as, gosh, the Celtics just took it to the Bulls that night. I mean, there's no nice way to put that. But Nader has found a spot with Brad Stevens and the Celtics. Great to see always the local guys succeeding on the next level. Jabari Parker coming back for the Bucks, playing well for them after 2 ACL injuries.
Yep. Oh, it's great to see him healthy. Putback is good there by Barif Smith.
And it's a gang rebounding on the offensive end for Niles North. Again, 4 purple jerseys hitting that glass, having 1 guy back as a safety valve. They have 5 offensive rebounds in this first half, and that's a big man move by Brayboy.
Looking to complete the 3-point play. Huge bucket by Huron. Here's another look.
Brayboy just says, hey, you want to try and block this, you got to meet me up top. The young pup, the freshman Jalen Butler, a little too late on this block attempt. This may get Brayboy going. You see him talking to the young pup again, and Butler, junior to the freshman, but he has to get his game going if New Trier wants to continue to battle.
As Brayboy completes the 3-point play. All 4 of New Trier's buckets coming into the paint. It's a 10-point lead for the Vikings.
They have really force-fed Brayboy that basketball. A lot of high-low action with Griffin, Ryan, and Brayboy.
Wow, that 3-ball is good.
Barif Smith.
Damarian Barif Smith hitting the triple, the 3rd different Viking to hit from downtown.
And the Vikings are only shooting 32% on the season from the 3-point line. Look at Barif Smith. He steps right into it. And again, the closeouts for New Trier are just a couple of seconds slow. Give a team confidence from the arc. They're going to keep launching and they're making it.
24-11. Ryan got cut off, leans in, puts up the shot, no good. Claiborne with the rebound. Everything in the favor of Niles North here in this first half. Smart kicks it out in the corner. Claiborne faked the 3. Taking the 3 and hitting again is Barif Smith.
I'll tell you what, it's been target practice for the Vikings. They have done everything right within their offense, and it's resulting in 3-point bombs.
And New Trier nearly turning it over again. It's going to be Trevian's basketball. 5 threes made for the Vikings.
Great shots come from great offense. Look at the ball movement from the Vikings. Barif Smith steps right into it, knocks it down, and there he is again.
Inside, Ryan, nice inbounds pass. Well planned, and Ryan got the easy layup. Another bucket in the paint for the Trevians.
Trevians sticking with that 1-3-1 zone. You see Griff Ryan at the top, long arms, about 6'5". Going to try and get some deflections, get his hands up in the passing lane. But again, For a team that is knocking down shots, those closeouts have to be quicker, and you have to contest with high hands.
27-13 in favor of the Vikings. 3:45 left in the first half.
It was very reminiscent of Tuesday night sectional between Evanston and Loyola. Wildcats came out just hot. Lance Jones was a bucket getter. And there's another bucket getter again, Barif Smith.
Barif Smith with 10 second quarter points. He's got 12. Boy, between him and Stevenson and Claiborne, they have been the show tonight. Kirkpatrick, the floater won't go. Look at Brayboy, the putback.
Well, Brayboy just telling his teammates, look, I'm here to play. You guys got to follow my lead.
10 points, 5 rebounds for Brayboy.
That is man's work early.
3 minutes left here in this first half. 29-15. Boy, going back to the second meeting on February 19th at Niles North, the Vikings 17 points off of the 17 New Trier turnovers in that game. Kind of a similar situation here tonight.
That is right, Mark. And that was actually a rescheduled game.
Yeah,
we remember that big snowstorm that we had in the Chicago area?
And the Vikings turnover. Yeah, we were supposed to do the original game
that Friday night.
Yeah.
And then Mother Nature says, no, not tonight. We're going to do it next week.
Checking back in is Miles Davis for the Vikings. There's a good look at Davis.
I mean, he has to know who the Miles Davis is.
Oh,
I'm sure his parents explained why they probably named him Miles Davis, or if they didn't, say, well, your name is just like a legendary musician.
Conahan getting it inside to Brayboy. What a block! A great block, and the Vikings turn it over.
And I'll tell you what, Barif Smith is playing motivated basketball. Look at him meet Brayboy in the air.
Wow.
I mean, 9 times out of 10, that is a two-handed dunk for Brayboy. He's running back down the court. He's pumping his fists. He's yelling, but not that time. Barif Smith has it clicking on both ends. I'm impressed.
2:17 remaining here in this first half. New Trier and Niles North. The winner gets Evanston Friday night for the sectional title. Kirkpatrick, some fancy dribbling, and a block will be on Davis. For Miles, a little bit of contact, that will be his second.
It's a good job of Kirkpatrick withstanding the pressure from Davis, forcing that foul on him. Jamal Stevenson getting tended to. It's March Madness.
And
you're going to expect a lot of blood and a lot of bumps and bruises.
First point of the game for Andrew.
They need some other scoring other than Huron Brayboy. He has 9 points, about 5 rebounds. He's really carried the load for the Trevians offensively.
Omar Polakap back into the game as a second free throw by Kirkpatrick is also good. 29-17. Pressure now by the Vikings. Or by the Trevians, I should say. The Vikings getting it across. Claiborne directing traffic. New Trier falls back into his own.
They're a little confused on what they're playing right now.
Yeah, now they're picking up man-to-man, it looks like. The drive by Smart, blocked by Brayboy.
6'8" and 6'9" down there just waiting.
Kirkpatrick for three is short. Claiborne got the rebound.
The Trevians have to get back right now and recognize where the Vikings are in transition. Smart move by Claiborne to bring that basketball back out and get set up. And one of the more impressive things about this Vikings run, Mark, they've done it without their leader, Demario Franklin.
Yeah.
We haven't talked much about him other than him being in foul trouble. Hasn't gotten himself comfortable or in the rhythm offensively, but it's been Claiborne. It's been Barif Smith.
Here is Claiborne on the drive. Wow, there was some contact, but he made the bucket.
Javon is flexing a little bit. 10 points for the senior.
31-17. Niles North playing a near perfect first half here.
Nice skip pass.
3-ball attempt is short. Rebound pulled down by Niles North's Barif Smith.
I'm sure Glenn Olson, you see him holding up that one finger. They want to take the last shot of this half.
Niles North, 6 field goals in this quarter, just 1 turnover. What a move by Claiborne!
Trevon Claiborne is cooking.
12 for him. Well, that play, reminiscent of how things have gone here in the first half, it's been all Vikings. And now the Trevians with 18 seconds left. See if they go for the last shot here.
That's a huge power swing going into halftime, Mark. Niles North not letting up.
Into the corner, Ryan. Ryan gets it inside the Bray boy. Counted, and he was fouled.
And what allowed Bray boy to get that great position was his body movement. He kept Bereese Smith on his back the entire possession. That ball swung around. Bray boy worked his way with his body, not his hands, worked it with his feet to get that pass over the top of Bereese Smith and the M1.
And for Bereese Smith, his first. All the field goals for New Trier coming in the paint.
Shout out to Jamal Stevenson back in the game. He had that Band-Aid on the top of his nose. So this is a minor cut. I'm getting back in this game. There's no way I'm sitting out for an extended period of time.
Bray boy now with a dozen. 33-20, Vikings by 13. Into the game for New Trier, number 12, Matt Mosier, 6'1" senior. He's guarding Claiborne. 3 to Claiborne for 3. Back of the iron, no, and that will do it. 1/2 of basketball from Maine East in the books. Sectional semifinal. The Vikings led by 10 at the end of the first quarter, 16-6. They lead it here at the break by 13, 33-20. 12 points for Bereese Smith, 8 points for Stevenson, 12 for Claiborne, 12 points for Bray boy of New Trier. Let's go down to Eric Schmidt. Eric.
Thanks, Mark. Coach, you guys had a lot of success with Bray boy in particular in the post. How do you get into the half-court sets for the second half?
Well, we've been doing a good job when we're not turning the ball over. Once we get to our half-court offense, we're isolating him in the post and getting him the ball, and he's been successful. We just got to eliminate some of our mistakes we're making.
Appreciate the time, Coach. Thank you very much. Guys, back upstairs.
Halftime here at Maine East, 33-20. Vikings with the lead. You're watching the CN100 Game of the Week.
You're watching the Comcast Network. CN100, Chicago.
The Emmy Award-winning program, Inside Game of the Week, is back with another epic battle on the gridiron. The 8A semifinals featured the defending state champion Maine South Hawks and the top-ranked Lincoln Way East Griffins. With exclusive access and a camera at every angle, watch these perennial powers collide in a whole new perspective with Inside Game of the Week. Check CN100.tv for airtimes or go anytime to Xfinity On Demand and select Get Local CN100. X1 users scroll over to Xfinity Services and select Get Local.
Hi, I'm Cindy Bravos. On this edition of Community Connection, we welcome Sheridan Turner from Cole Children's Museum, highlight art from Carla Bank, and explore the art behind major court cases with courtroom sketch artist Thomas Gianni. We'll take you on location to relax with sound meditation. Plus, we have Alyssa Gambla making one of her favorite desserts. All this and more on Community Connection. See it here first. Watch this episode and other exclusive stories on Comcast On Demand.
Fresh off the 2017 Chicago Midwest Emmys, CN100 is proud to announce its win for Inside Game of the Week Thornwood Sectional for Best Sports One-Time Special. Go inside the locker rooms and team huddles for an all-access experience from the 2017 Thornwood Sectional. Relive this thrilling Emmy-winning program with Xfinity On Demand in the Emmy nominations folder by selecting Get Local and choosing CN100. X1 users, go to Xfinity Services and select Get Local. Join Backstage Chicago in celebrating Blue Man Group's 20th anniversary in the Windy City with Backstage Blue Man Group. Host Paul Lisnick goes in-depth with the show's stars. We not only unmask the Blue Man Group, but reveal exclusive behind-the-scenes footage to some of the Blue Man secrets. Go to CN100.tv for a list of airtimes or view this program anytime with Xfinity On Demand by selecting Get Local and choosing CN100. X1 users, scroll over to Xfinity Services and select Get Local.
There are a lot of schools I'm about to name. We are at Maine East. We are at the Niles North game against New Trier, but I have the Evanston head coach. That's a lot of CSL teams to talk about right now. You guys have had such an incredible season as a conference this year. 3 of the 4 sectional semifinalists. What is it this year, Coach Mike Ellis from Evanston?
You know, our conference was so tough night in and night out all season long. Having to play these teams twice a year on their court, you know, in our gym, you know, to finish tied for the league title with New Trier, you know, we feel good about that accomplishment, but we know there's a lot more in front of us on Friday night.
Usually at this time of year, you're preparing for teams you're not very familiar with, but now you guys are all playing each other this far in the season. How do you like preparing for those types of games?
Yeah, you know, we're very familiar with one another, not just this season, but the last few years. You know, the players that have returned, we've played them. We've got varsity players that this isn't their first year on the varsity team, so it's not just this season, it's last year. A lot of teams with experience on the floor, you know, so teams aren't going to get rattled, even though it's a big moment. You're just going to have to play solid and fundamental to win a game like that.
Let's talk about your team. What makes your team so special this season?
You know, I think it's the depth at our guard position. You know, basketball has kind of evolved to the strength of a guard's game, and we go very deep with our guards. We share the basketball. It's a different guy each night stepping up, so we like the balance with our team between all our guards, and we get a lot from our bigs too.
Now, you were in your 8th season at Evanston. You came here from Peoria Richwoods. How do you like the challenge of playing up here now?
There's some great coaches. I mean, just in our league alone, you know, the coaches here really work hard. They're very knowledgeable, and they bring the most out of you, so it's a real challenge.
And not to make light of what you did at Peoria Richards, because you had some fantastic teams there as well. I'm going to ask you one more question, and it's about one player, Blake Peters. For those of you who don't know, that hit the shot that I don't know if there anybody that hasn't seen the shot based on the YouTube numbers. What is he up to? He's a freshman. Walk us through the emotion from that night and what happened there.
Yeah, you know, we were playing a tough Maine South team, conference game, and, you know, they had seized the lead late in the game, and Blake takes a shot in desperation, down 2 points. It's do or die. It goes in three-quarter court. You know, that's something that we'll probably experience only once in our life, so you have to enjoy it.
Well, it was an amazing shot. Thank you for that time. And really, if you haven't seen it, Evanston buzzer beater, I think that'll find it on YouTube or anywhere that you're looking. So thanks for your time, Coach Ellis. Good luck when you guys play. We're going to go to Mark Kruger for some halftime highlights and stats.
Thanks, Dick.
All right, thank you very much, Coach Ellis. We thank you for stopping by. Take a look at the first half highlights, and we begin with Drayvon Claiborne off of a steal.
Well, the Vikings had 10 points off of New Trier turnovers, and they've just done a great job of capitalizing.
Claiborne hitting from the top of the key, 3 of his 12 first half points. And then it was Huron Brayboy going to work down low for the Trevians.
Yeah, Mark, he's been the lone bright spot for New Trier. 12 of New Trier's 20 points came from that young man, number 21 in white.
Spencer Boehm had 2 points in the first half. They're going to need to get him going in the second half.
Yes, a lot more Spencer Boehm and a lot more Andrew Kirkpatrick to come within this Vikings lead.
More Barif Smith. Boy, what a first half he has had. Right place at the right time, going back with the offensive rebound. More Huron Brayboy for the Trevians as he gets the good inside position for 2.
Yeah, just man's work from the junior. 6'9", strong, and finishes high at the rim.
More Barif Smith, second quarter. He hit 2 from downtown. Here is one of those 3-pointers. And then more New Trier, more Huron Brayboy hitting the offensive glass for the Trevs.
It's a workhorse all first half. Got to believe they're going to continue to feed that young man in the second half.
Finish with a Vikings 3. Drayvon, look at that beautiful move. There was harm, but no contact, no foul, as Claiborne hit 2 of his 12 first half points. Xfinity On Demand presents Prep Profile and insights into today's high school student athletes. Here's a sneak peek at Griff Ryan of New Trier.
Probably the first basketball memory I have was RMG Hoops. It's an AAU team I used to play for. Probably 3rd grade, I remember we came out, it was just kind of like a ragtag group of kids. from North Shore, and we played this one team who at the time, like 3rd grade, like they were like ranked and like 3rd grade, stuff like that. Doesn't really mean a lot, but I remember like first half we came out, we scored 2 points the entire half. So we were down like 20-something points, but I remember that second half we scored like 20-something points, and like we ended up losing by like 4, and it was just like that first memory of like being able to like play basketball and like compete like that was something that kind of always brought me back to the sport and something that really excited me about basketball.
To view Griff's entire profile, go to On Demand, click Get Local, and then CN100. X1 users start at the Xfinity Services tab. Let's go courtside to Eric Schmidt. Eric?
Guys, real quick, Coach Olson, Bree Smith averages 7 a game, and he had 12 in the second quarter. What got him going today?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think he's a great worker. He's an unselfish kid, and, you know, teams have been leaving him open a little bit, and tonight he's really capitalizing and getting to the offensive glass as well.
Now, Coach, I know you guys don't go incredibly deep. How do you keep up that defensive intensity?
And we got to keep it up for 60 more minutes, but that's just conditioning and how we practice.
Thanks so much, Coach. Appreciate it. Mark Kemp.
Eric, thank you very much. Let's take a look at the first half numbers there, Cameron. And boy, you see the 7 turnovers for New Trier. Very, very big for them in that first half.
Yes, I agree. And you can't win basketball games when you're turning it over, and that's been the MO of New Trier when they face Niles North all season long. And the Vikings have done a great job capitalizing off of those turnovers. 10 points compared to New Trier's 0.
Look at Niles North from behind the arc. 7 of 13. New Trier not 1 3-pointer. That was huge in the first half as well.
Well, the good thing for the Trevians, they got to the line. Got to the free throw line 9 times, made 6 out of the 9. So you look to see more of that, more aggressiveness going towards the rim. Best believe Kieran Brayboy will be force-fed that basketball, but they need other guys to step up. It can't just be one player commanding all the offense.
Well, we mentioned both of these two teams out of the Central Suburban South. New Trier and Evanston both finished 8-2 in the league. Niles North and Maine South both finished 6-4. And we talked about, and there's a look at it there, Cam. When we talk about New Trier, Evanston, and Niles North, all 3 of those teams in this sectional. But throw in Maine South, and boy, what a conference, Central Suburban South, huh?
There is no easy game in this conference. And you look at the Vikings, and they had a loss to New Trier, had a loss to Evanston, and that loss at Evanston came in overtime where Jaheim Holden just went unconscious from the free throw line. I think he went like 16 of 18 from the free throw line when it was all said and done in the second half.
Well, the Trevians, they tried to get into Brayboy. They got the loose ball, however. Conahan, he was shut out. Brayboy with an easy layup to start the third.
Well, Brayboy is just telling his teammates, hey, jump on my back. I'll take us there. You guys need to step up. I'll show you how.
16 of the 22 New Trier points coming in the paint. What a move by Stevenson as he goes up, lost it. Turnover for the Vikings to start the third quarter.
Pretty move, but he couldn't finish.
Kirkpatrick kicks it out. Ryan for 3, short, tapped around, and it looked like it went off of Stevenson. It'll be New Trier ball.
Well, it's always interesting when a team is up big in the first half. You start to see some complacency kick in, and that happened against Evanston and Loyola. The Wildcats got complacent in that third quarter. Ramblers come back and make it a ball game. Starting to see a little bit of that happen in this matchup tonight. New Trier playing inspired. I'm sure Scott Freaky has some choice words for his players in the locker room, so they're playing motivated in this third quarter.
Mark Kruger, Cameron Smith, Eric Schmidt, and our entire CN100 crew coming to you from Maine East High School in Park Ridge. Sectional semifinal. Conahan for 3, no. New Trier now 0 for 8 from behind the arc. Franklin with the rebound.
I'm pretty sure you're going to have to go back in the history books to the last time New Trier was 0 for 8 from the three-point line. That just doesn't happen.
Stevenson on the miss. The putback by Franklin, though. The left-handed layup is good by Aquan Smart.
Good job, Aquan Smart on the offensive glass and going up with the left hand just in case a Trevian tried to go up for a block. Smart move by the sophomore.
His first 2 points of the game.
Look at this pressure from Drayvon Claiborne on Kirkpatrick.
Yes.
Kirkpatrick almost didn't make it over the timeline.
And Ryan stole it by Franklin. Franklin, he'll send it home. What a time for Franklin's first field goal. At the other end, Brayboy answers with a dunk of his own.
Well, the athletes are out in this third quarter, Mark. This is what the people came to see. Give them what they want.
Claiborne gets fouled, going to the rack. Oh my, the action has picked up here in the last couple of moments.
Well, Franklin let go of some aggression on that dunk. Struggled in that first half with foul trouble, so he set the majority. And you're going to see him unleash on this rim. Finds that launching pad, and there's the finish.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Kind of looked like you on that dunk, Mark.
Please.
Oh, man.
Cameron. On an 8-foot hoop, maybe.
I'm still searching for that footage of Mark Kruger in the open court with the breakaway dunk. I will find it. I'm on a quest. Someone at Downers Grove South High School has that footage, and I need to get in contact with him.
Claiborne hits the first. He's got 13.
He's had a great game. I've been impressed with Drayvon Claiborne and his skill set and what he can do with the basketball.
Missed the second free throw, but Niles North gets it back. 3 ball is off. But there's Smart. 8 offensive rebounds for Niles North in this game.
And you have to believe Glenn Olson hammered that point into their heads. Attack the offensive glass. They saw something in the game film against New Trier that said, this might work. Let's hit the glass, because the Trevians don't do a good job of boxing out.
Franklin made a nice move. Bame got the rebound. Brayboy, as he went up, whistle will be called on Smart. Now, it'll be interesting if it was on the ground or if he went up for the shot. No, it was before the shot for Smart, his second. Well, let's take another look at the pickpocket there by Franklin, and look at this dunk. Oh, that was sweet. Well, Brayboy on the lob, and now at the other end, it's Brayboy sending it home.
So you say you want to play in the Central Suburban South, huh?
Yeah.
Well, get ready to get dunked on.
Stevenson with a nice drive in the finish. Jamal with 10. Quickly, it's Kirkpatrick. Cameron taking it all the way. Loose ball to Bame. He goes up with it, and it's going to be a held ball. Barif Smith held him up. Possession arrow going to the Vikings.
Well, Mark, you mentioned this in the first quarter. It just seems like Niles North are a couple of steps quicker to the basketball than New Trier.
And the Trevians will call a timeout. Let's take another look at the last bucket here for the Vikings.
I mean, Stevenson's so long that he can eat up a lot of space. You see him push that basketball out in front of him after that crossover move to get to the rim. It's just a luxury to be that long and the lefty.
Hey, Cameron, the game of the week wraps up coverage of the high school basketball season with the Chicago State University 4A Super Sectional. We'll be there, and you can tune on Wednesday, March 14th at 7 p.m. to see who will advance to the state semifinals. For additional air dates and times, visit our website at cn100.tv. The game features the winner of the Thornton Sectional against the winner of the Riverside Brookfield Sectional. Of course, the number 1 seed at Thornton, Simeon, the number 1 seed at RB, the Curie Condors.
Well, I'm excited about that Super Sectional, but I'm also sad because that means the high school basketball season, especially on CN 100, is coming to an end.
Yeah.
But we always get great matchups with that Super Sectional. If I was a betting man, I would say it would be Simeon against Curie for that Super Sectional. It would be round 3, the rubber match between those two schools, and Simeon just handled Curie just easily in those first 2 matchups, but you never know. That's why it's March Madness. That's why you play the game. It could be very well 2 different teams at Chicago State.
Almost everybody had those 2 as the top 2 ranked teams in the state. Simeon number 1, Curie number 2. To the left hand goes Smart, and he was fouled.
Well, that situation just can't happen if you're New Trier. You're coming out of a timeout. You get a chance to set up your defense, and you allow Aquan Smart to go the length of the court right at the rim for a chance to finish. And you pound on the mistake of fouling him.
Sam Silverstein with the foul, his second. 2 points, 4 rebounds for Aquan as he missed the first free throw. He'll have 1 more.
I'm just trying to figure out how he's shooting the basketball. You see he's got 2 fingers taped up on his shooting hand, the right hand. Left wrist is taped up. It looks like Bernard King right now.
Back on February 20th, he had a career-high 17 points in an overtime win against Glenbrook North.
Just throw some knee pads on Aquan Smart, and that's definitely Bernard King.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about When Bernard King was at his peak with the Knicks, before those knee injuries, he was unstoppable.
Yes. Yes, he was.
Just an incredible scoring machine. Kirkpatrick takes it all the way and lays it in.
And Andrew Kirkpatrick with a little Bob Cousy move right there. Falling to the ground, handling the ball. Nice crossovers and finishing.
4.5 minutes left to play here in the third. That 3-ball is good from the corner pocket.
Well, that's been all there all night for Barif Smith. He
15
just sets
now
up
for
camp.
Barif Smith.
Sorry about that, Mark. He just sets up camp in the corner. Claiborne with the steal. Little Euro jelly. And New Trier's in need of a timeout right now, Mark. This thing is starting to get out of hand.
15 for Claiborne, and the Vikings getting it done on the defensive end. We talked about that in the open. 3-ball. Fitzpatrick hits the triple. Their first 3-ball of the game. It's by Andrew Kirkpatrick. New Trier calls a timeout, 45-29 with 3:57 left.
Kirkpatrick walks right into that, and that has to feel good for him. Struggled all night offensively. We saw him with a nice little crossover move for the finish, and now he steps his game outside for the 3.
Let's go to Eric Schmidt. Eric.
Bernard King. You guys get an A in NBA history. I love that. Very good. Hey, real quick about Aquan Smith. He's a guy that you talked about in the first half. He's a sophomore on this team. Coach Glenn Olson mentioned that he brought him up last year as a freshman. And the reason was he didn't get a lot of playing time, but he wanted him to come up and play with the juniors last season because Coach Olson knew that this team was going to be very special. And you guys mentioned it before. Eventually, this is going to be Smart's team, but not quite yet, guys.
Yeah, he's going to have to wait his turn a little bit. He knows he's out there with 4 seniors, and he's just a smart player.
Yeah.
He knows his time will come. There he is.
He fits right in.
Yeah. Smart player, and as we mentioned earlier, turned into a very good defensive player.
Well, I'm going to head to Niles North this summer just to see who shows up for open gym.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, they have some talented guys that have come out of that school, as we mentioned. As Claiborne gets another deuce to get his total up to 17 at this point.
47-29. Can you believe this? 3:35 to go here in the third. Still plenty of time. Almost a backcourt, and it is. Another turnover for New Trier. 10 turnovers of the game for New Trier.
There's a steal from Claiborne in the open court. Look at the Euro step. Look at the jelly layup. And he's been doing it all night. Claiborne has stepped up his game, and that's what you expect of a senior. He does not want to end his career on this court. He wants to continue on and try and get to Peoria. And there he is again.
16 points off of New Trier turnovers for Niles North.
Well, Mark, it seems like Javon Claiborne is dribbling around cones right now. That's what it looks like. And it's not a shot at New Trier's defense, but he's just been that superb with the ball and with his body movement.
He's got a game-high 19 points so far tonight. 3 minutes exactly remaining here in the third.
The Trevians need something offensively.
Mosher will take the shot, no good. Kirkpatrick for 3, rimming out. Brayboy's put back, no good. Ball tapped around, coming out of it is Franklin. Franklin ahead to Davis. Follow-up is good by Barif Smith, and he comes out of there limping.
He's trying to get back on defense as Brayboy is trying to set up down deep in the paint.
Kirkpatrick missed. Silverstein, though, with an offensive rebound. Brayboy traveled.
Great save by Silverstein. It's just been that kind of night for New Trier.
Ryan and Bain back in for the Trebs.
Here's Davis. Just didn't recognize where he was on the court. And thankfully for Davis, Barif Smith was there.
Omar Polakap back into the game for the Vikings.
And get a look at Brayboy. He's hurting right now. Looks like he's favoring that right leg. Speaking to the team's trainer, he's going to walk over to the track and get that leg checked out.
Well, of the 11 New Trier turnovers, Niles North has scored on 10 of those, either via a basket or a free throw. Man, that will lose you games.
Yes, very quickly.
2:20 to go here in the third.
It's just not this performance by the Trevians is not indicative of how they're great of a season that they've had this year.
And that's going to be a backcourt. 5th turnover of the game for the Vikings. Back into the game is the freshman Jalen Butler. And he's going to come in for Barif Smith. So Demarion will take a break here at the 2:08 mark of the third quarter.
Spencer Bame back in the front court for Scott Fricky. Had a couple of points in the first half, but has been mostly quiet on the night.
Kirkpatrick was fouled by Claiborne. And for Drayvon, that's his second. Second team foul for New Trier. 2 team fouls on the Vikings.
See, Claiborne's trying to teach Jalen Butler how to defend Spencer Bame.
Kirkpatrick for 3, and he hits.
Well, that's what happens. Claiborne was trying to help Butler defend, or teach him how to defend in front, Spencer Bame in the post, and allows Kirkpatrick just to step right in and knock down his second 3.
10 points for Andrew. 8 of his 10 coming here in the third quarter. He's hit a couple of 3 balls. Claiborne, some fancy dribbling, backs out of it.
It's just all ball movement now. They're going to make this 1-3-1 zone work. Move that ball around and try and find the gaps. And they are there. They can get a guy attacking that gap, whether it's Stevenson or Claiborne. Make that second defender move up, and that's Griffin Ryan. Try and make some things happen with someone cutting on the baseline.
And there's a foul. Claiborne got fouled. And yeah, Niles North has the big lead. They can force New Trier to come out of that zone. Bame, by the way, with a foul. Spencer's first. Third team foul.
I think the toughest position on that 1-3-1 zone is right there at the top. I think if that possession continues, all of a sudden you start to get a little dizzy. You're going back and forth, trying to force that ball handler into a trap.
Barif Smith quickly back in for Niles North. He didn't get much of a breather.
I wonder if Mark Plattis is getting paid extra to clean up that spill up over on the sideline. Just a great official. This is a great crew that we have.
Yeah, they've done a great job in this one.
See, the student section is packed. Fans are here. This is high school basketball in March, only in Illinois.
You see Claiborne talking to Mark Plattis. I think he's talking about how many seconds he's got to get over the half-court line. Inside, another bucket by Barif Smith. Wow, 19 for him.
Yeah, it's been a coming-out party for Barif Smith.
Him and Claiborne each with 19. Inside, and Bame gets the easy one.
Yeah, Bame just working the freshman and Butler up the line, and that ball reversed, and Bame had Butler on his hip the entire time.
For New Trier, though, you can't keep trading buckets. Down 19, 40 seconds to go.
Well, Mark, they're staying in the zone because just personnel-wise, they can't match up with Niles North if they go man-to-man. So they're trying to force any kind of confusion or turnovers in this 1-3-1 zone.
Yeah, and Niles North is saying, well, we'll just run as much clock off as we can.
Yeah.
And there's 20 seconds left in the quarter.
It's really been pick your poison.
Yeah.
You don't run out to us or close out properly, we knock down threes. You're a little too aggressive guarding the ball, we go right past you and get to the rim.
Boy, in the fourth quarter, Cameron, at some point you have to think Coach Fricky's going to have to come out of that zone, don't you? Beautiful pass inside. Oh, the missed shot. 2 seconds to go. Conahan from half court. Ooh, back to the iron and no good. 3/4 of basketball in the books from Maine East. It's been all Niles North, 53-34 over New Trier. This is the CN100 Game of the Week.
You're watching the Comcast Network. CN100, Chicago.
Relive the fun and excitement from the 2018 Cubs Convention with CN100 Sports, starting with Cubs Community Service Week and capped off with the 33rd Annual Cubs Convention. Hear from members of the organization and their diehard fans as CN100 Sports gets you ready for the upcoming season on the North Side. Check out CN100.tv for airtimes or view this program anytime with Xfinity On Demand by selecting Get Local and choosing CN100. X1 users scroll over to Xfinity Services and select Get Local.
Welcome back to Maine East High School as we are about set for fourth quarter action. This is a sectional semifinal game. The number 2 seed New Trier, the number 3 seed Niles North. Mark Kruger, Cameron Smith, Eric Schmidt, and our entire CN100 crew as we take a look at the numbers in the third quarter. And New Trier finally knocked down a 3 in that quarter.
The turnovers have been the issue for the Trevians all night, and 4 more in that third quarter. Again, they just haven't been able to find a rhythm because of that pressure from Niles North. Full court man-to-man pressure on the ball, and they've done a good job of making passes difficult for the Trevians offensively.
So it'll be Trevians basketball here to start the fourth quarter. A capacity crowd, not an empty seat in this gym. Ryan will get it into Conahan. Ryan has it knocked out of bounds. It will be New Trier ball. Brian Conahan has been held scoreless so far in this game tonight.
Yeah, since this is the money quarter, the fourth quarter, every possession counts for New Trier. It has to be something positive. Each trip down.
Kirkpatrick lets the defender go by, missed the shot. Franklin with great position to get the rebound. Smart into the front court. Smart with a pass and the take to the hoop by Barif Smith, but he was fouled and he'll shoot 2.
Yeah, Conahan just in a tough position as he and Stevenson a little back and forth right there.
First trip to the line tonight for Barif Smith. 19 points on the night.
Like we've mentioned this young man's name all night long. He and Drayvon Claiborne.
Yeah, they've been a great 1-2 offensive bunch, no doubt about it. But again, this Niles North team creating the turnovers with that pressure defense. 20 points now for Barif Smith as he goes 1 of 2 from the foul line. The lead is 20.
Well, Mark, would you believe that Niles North, if I told you before this game, would be up 20 points in the fourth quarter, and Demaria Franklin would only have 3 of their 54 points? That would be hard to believe.
Well, a foul there by Stevenson for Jamal. That's his first. Check that, his second. It's the 13th foul of the half.
Kieran Brayboy for the Trevians still on that bench.
A little high-low there between Ryan and Bames. Spencer got it down low and he was fouled.
Brayboy injured that right leg in the third quarter. We can get a shot of him on the bench. He's trying to stretch that right leg out and kind of moving his foot up and down and trying to get some kind of blood circulating so he can get back in this game.
Aquan Smart, by the way, picked up the foul. That's his third. Kirkpatrick. Bounce pass to Ryan.
Nice pass.
Inside to Conahan, and there's his first 2 points of the game.
Great cut
good
by
movement
Conahan.
away from the ball. Yeah, good cut by Conahan.
Sorry about that part of it, but yes. Great cut, great finish, great recognition from Ryan.
18-point deficit now for New Trier. And there's a steal. Silverstein
nice.
To Ryan. Back to Silverstein, misses it. Ryan's put back again, and they're going to call a held ball here. Alternate possession going to the Vikings.
Just been the theme all night for New Trier. Whenever something positive is starting to percolate and formulate, it ends in something negative.
And a turnover, 7th turnover, and there's the bucket by Ryan. First points off of turnovers for New Trier, as Ryan with a chance to complete the 3-point play.
Griff says we're going to start a positive and we're going to end it with a positive. Nice steal, spin move, contact, and 1.
So New Trier trying to make a little bit of a run here. They trail it 54-38 with 6:51 left. Don't forget you can rewatch tonight's game with Xfinity on demand by selecting Get Local and then choosing all high school sports. For Xfinity X1 customers, scroll over to Xfinity Services and select Get Local and watch tonight's game in high definition.
We saw Mike Ellis of the Evanston Wildcats here, he and his staff. No rest for the weary. Big win last night against Loyola. And back to work tonight trying to scout the winner of this one.
Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. We're on Instagram as well, at CN100 Sports, at CN100 Sports.
Adam Caesar handling our social media for the evening, has done a great job all season long. Some very great action shots.
Oh, he does a great job. Let's not forget Periscope. We did that before
Periscope.
the game. We're all over
all
social.
over. Show us some love.
Yeah.
Give us some likes on IG.
Well, the question is, Cameron, is there enough time for the Trevians to get back into this game?
Well, I've seen crazier things happen in basketball, so I'm not going to count New Trier out. I give them more respect than just saying that this game is over. I played against this program. I've seen them throughout the years. But this lead right now that Niles North has, they have a very strong grip on it, but it's 6:51 left in the fourth. A lot of different situations could come to fruition and change the outcome of this game.
Griff Ryan looking to complete the three-point play. 7 points for Ryan tonight.
Trevian's on that 1-2-1-1 full court pressure, trying to force any kind of chaos against Niles North.
Stevenson, and there's a turnover as he tried to get it to Barif Smith. So some pressure by New Trier. Back-to-back turnovers for the Vikings.
Yeah, Stevenson trying to get a little too cute with that pass over to Barif Smith. And Quan Smart is going to come out of the game, and Miles Davis checks in for him.
Well, New Trier down 15. They hit a triple here. It's only a 12-point game, and there's still plenty of time left. Big possession for the Trevians. Kirkpatrick on the drive, and he puts it in. What a move by Andrew.
Great recognition from Kirkpatrick. Saw that weak side defense, wasn't looking at him, didn't know where he was, so he took it upon himself to turn up the speed and get to the rim and finish.
5 straight points for New Trier. Conahan with the pickpocket. But are they going to call? Yeah, they're calling a hack. They saying Brian hit him on the arm. Here's the last bucket by New Trier. Beautiful drive by Kirkpatrick.
Yes, this is great point guard recognition from the senior. Weak side isn't there, no presence. I'm going to turn that shoulder and try and get around the corner against Claiborne and get myself 2 more points.
4 fouls on Conahan. 5 team fouls for each team. Inside, Stevenson blocked. Here come the Trevians. Ryan takes it all the way off the glass and in.
Griff Ryan is playing inspired basketball. The Trevians on a 7-0 run right now in this fourth quarter.
Only 11-point difference. Still 6 minutes to go. There's plenty of time left.
Almost
yeah, I was going to say. Claiborne inside, and they bring it out. 3 ball by Franklin. No. Loose ball, though. Franklin got it. Puts it up. Tough shot off the glass. Ryan got it. Here come the Trevians. Bame, and they're going to call a block and count it. Count the bucket by Spencer Bame, and the foul.
It is a new ball game inside of Maine East High School. Spencer Bame, and 1. Griff Ryan, another senior, and 1 plays. Here it is in transition. Ryan to Bame, take that contact, get the bucket.
Claiborne with the foul, his 3rd. Timeout on the court. It's a single-digit lead.
Well, we were saying, Mark, about a minute ago in this ball game that things could change. You never know what can happen when it's March and it's playoff basketball. New Trier, credit to them for continuing to fight.
Well, let's take another look at it here. Griff Ryan with the block right there, and then he's out in transition.
Griff Ryan has played a major part in this comeback. The senior says, I don't want to end my career at this stage of the state playoffs. I want to keep playing. Let me get myself going on the defensive end. It translates to my offense. And he says, hey, Spencer, come join me on this trip. Spencer Bame gets a big-time man one to cut this deficit within 10 points.
9 for Ryan. 16 for Brayboy. Kirkpatrick with a dozen. What a comeback here by New Trier. And if Bame hits this free throw, they're down just 8. And the momentum has certainly shifted to New Trier.
And your student section gets more involved in the game. Your bench is more involved. Your parents, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins are here. They get more involved. So it reawakens the Trevian crowd here tonight. It's a big free throw from Spencer Bame.
63% free throw shooter on the year. He completes the three-point play, and the Vikings nearly turn it over.
Well, I'll tell you what. Javon Claiborne looked like he stepped on that end line with that left foot. It was close.
Boy, this is a senior, experienced Vikings team, and they seem to be a bit unraveled right now.
Mark, another New Trier basket, and it's a 6-point game. Can you believe that?
Incredible. I mean, at the end of the third quarter, it was 53-34. Niles North, a 19-point lead at the end of 3.
And some people were leaving. I saw a few people getting up out of their seats and leaving this gym. It must not be real basketball fans, because you don't leave a game at that point. You never know again what could change.
That New Trier zone seems to be a bit more active now. And there's a steal. Silverstein takes it all the way and lays it in. A 12-0 run for the Trevians.
Trevian triumph right now for Scott Fricke's group. Look at the bench. Their bench is up. Their student section, they're jumping up and down.
5 minutes left in regulation. The lead is 6 for the Vikings. And there's another turnover. Incredible fourth quarter. Up ahead, Silverstein. Spin move, fades, shoots, short. Rebound to Franklin.
Not the possession that the Trevians wanted with Silverstein with a spin move and fade away. Got to get something better, but again, you love what they're doing defensively. They're forcing those turnovers and going right back and scoring off of those turnovers.
Niles North 0 for 2 from the field here in this fourth quarter. 4 turnovers. They have just 1 free throw in the entire fourth quarter, and we're just about halfway through the quarter. And now they're trying to slow things down and regather themselves here.
Silverstein is gassed right now at the top of the key. He's going to get called for that foul there, and that's a fatigue foul.
Parif Smith got the ball on the elbow. Take another look at it here. There's the steal by Silverstein. Sam lays it in.
Well, Sam is 6'4", junior. See the length on that. Just getting his hands out, and that's why coaches preach. Tracing the ball with your hands, get your arms out in the passing lanes, because you can get tips and steals. Great minutes from Sam Silverstein.
A 14-1 run here in the fourth quarter for New Trier.
And they're doing with Kieran Brayboy on the bench.
Amazing. Claiborne backs it out. We are halfway through the fourth quarter. Out in the corner, Parif Smith. Air ball, loose ball. Here's Kirkpatrick. Andrew takes it all the way, off the glass, no. Loose ball into the corner, Conahan got it.
Nice behind the back from Conahan.
Drives, no good, Franklin got the rebound.
Just a little short on that finish. See, the Trevians are in man-to-man now. Scott Fricke switching up his defense, so it'll be interesting to see how they can defend the quickness and the ball handling of the Vikings.
3.5 minutes left. Oh, Claiborne with a beautiful pass. And the finish by Butler, the freshman.
If you remember, Claiborne passed over to Butler. That Butler missed a layup, but that's great faith from a senior to a freshman saying, hey, you missed that one. I'm going to go to you again. Check out this replay and the trust that the senior has for his freshman. Nice behind the back move, a nice quick shovel pass to Jalen Butler, who's diving to the rim.
And for Niles North, that's the first field goal of the fourth quarter.
Wow.
Samuelson got fouled at the other end here. There's a good look at Matt. He'll have 2. His first point of the game.
Matt just stepped up to the free throw line and said, hey, I could be in my bed right now, sleep. That's how good I feel at this free throw line. I'm going to knock this down and make this a 7-point deficit.
Chance to make it a 6-point deficit if he hits this one, and he does.
That's smooth.
Wow.
Making free throws in pressure situations. New Trier trying to decide what they're going to do defensively. And they're going to go back to that 1-3-1 zone. It's a smart move from Scott Fricke.
6-point lead as we approach the 3-minute mark. Claiborne out in the corner.
Good job from Parif Smith to get that basketball back out. His last 3-point attempt was an air ball. Don't need to rush anything, especially with 2:56 left in this ball game.
Stevenson, the skip pass over to Franklin. 2:50 remaining.
This Trevian's comeback is very reminiscent of last night's Loyola Evanston game. Ramblers fighting back in that third, and it was a ball game from there on out. Look at the freshman Jalen Butler showing his strength.
And he will shoot 2. 2:39 remaining. So Butler getting free down low a couple of times here in the last couple of moments. Kirkpatrick with the foul, his second. Butler, first trip for him to the foul line tonight.
60% free throw shooter. Let's see if the youngin can get it done.
Well, he missed that one, and he'll have one more.
Well, the communication right now on this free throw line for New Trier is blocking out. Who's pinching, who's taking shooter, and if I'm Spencer Bame, I'm going to take that one-on-one assignment for my block out, telling Sam Silverstein, you take shooter, you two guys pinch down low against Stevenson.
Butler hits the second free throw. 57-50. New Trier has outscored the Vikings 16-4 here in the fourth.
If you're Niles North, Mark, you want to play these last couple of minutes smart. You don't want to foul, and you want to get stops.
Kirkpatrick trying to work around the Ryan screen. Now he passes it off to Ryan. Ryan for three. A little too long, and the rebound by the freshman Butler.
It's a big-time rebound from Jalen Butler.
Jalen's had a couple of big plays here in the fourth quarter.
Yes, he has.
As we mentioned, just the freshman. As we approach the 2-minute mark, Vikings with the ball and a 7-point lead.
We're going to have to see the transfer New Trier become a little, or at least come quicker.
Stevenson on the drive, and he lays it in.
Jamal Stevenson, crafty in the air, and he finishes it.
12 for Stevenson. The lead is now 9. Boy, big bucket there. Here's Bame inside. Makes the move. No, but he was fouled. Well, that stops the clock with 1:40.
That speaks to the strength of Spencer Bame. He's battling 3 purple jerseys deep in that lane. Here's the last bucket from the Vikings. Nice move from Jamal Stevenson. We saw him go left a lot. We want those scouting in the gym to know that he can go right as well. 4 points on the night for the senior.
Well, Bame is 1 of 3 now from the line. He is only a 63% free throw shooter on the year. And what did we say about free throws? That you can win games?
Yes. one or a loss at that line.
Second one for Spencer. That one's good. 59-51. 1:38 left. Pressure now by the Trevians. Streaking Stevenson. Contact, and there's the foul. A streaking Jamal Stevenson as we send it down to Eric Schmidt. Eric.
First time these two teams met, actually. New Trier won that game, handed Niles North their first loss of the season. It took that Bray Boy tip-in at the buzzer, but to your point, Cameron, they almost lost that game. They were only 4 of 11 from the free throw line in the fourth quarter in that game, and Coach Fricke had said afterwards that they certainly felt the pressure in that game, and they are much better than that. Hopefully they're going to be able to show that down the stretch here.
All right, Eric. Thank you very much. As Stevenson misses that free throw. Yeah, Eric was talking about that 60-58 win that New Trier had over Niles North back on January 9th. So Stevenson will have one more.
Sorry about that, Mark. January 9th seems so long ago, especially when it comes to a basketball season.
Well, missed them both. 90 seconds left. It's an 8-point lead for the Vikings.
New Trier has to get something quick.
Here's Kirkpatrick. Bounce pass to Samuelson. Passed up the 3. Ryan will take the triple and hit. Griff Ryan buries a triple. Timeout taken by Fricke. 12 points now for Griff Ryan. 1:17 to go. Take another look. The Trevs down 5.
Well, Griff Ryan wasn't even prepared to shoot this basketball. Check out his reaction when he catches it. Hands weren't even ready. He says, oh, you want me to shoot it? Okay, well, I'll take it. Makes it a 5-point game. So senior just ready when his number's called, squares his shoulders, and buries it over Franklin.
So you have to figure now it'll be Ryan, Bame can hit the triple, and then Kirkpatrick. He has had 2 threes in the third quarter. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. We're on Instagram as well. Throw in Periscope in the mix. And we are all over social media at CN100 Sports, at CN100 Sports. Well, 1:17 left in this sectional semifinal. The winner gets Evanston Friday night. That was New Trier's third triple of the night. Kirkpatrick had 2 threes in the third quarter, and then Ryan had this one here. Will it be the number 1 seed versus the number 2 seed on Friday night, or the number 1 seed versus the number 3 seed? We will find out in the final 117 of this game.
You'll best believe that Evanston feels that whoever it is, they'll be ready.
Yeah.
Wildcats in attendance, their coaching staff at least, scouting both teams.
Franklin will inbound it here for the Vikings. Again, full court pressure by New Trier. They get it into Stevenson. Bit of contact there. Stevenson lost it. Ryan picked it up. Here's Bain. Kirkpatrick will launch the tree. He hit it. Kirkpatrick buries his third triple. It's a 2-point game. And the Vikings turn it over. Can you believe this?
Welcome to March Madness. Stevenson flailing, and there was no contact at all, so that's an actor's job. But then look at Andrew Kirkpatrick. We talked about him being a leader in the open, and that's what a leader does. Step up in challenging times to lead your group. Andrew Kirkpatrick steps up big time for the Trevians.
New Trier has never led in this game, and they're doing this without Kieran Brayboy, as Cameron mentioned. The drive by Kirkpatrick, and we're tied at 59. Watch this one unfold here. 36 seconds to go in regulation.
Trevians man-to-man now defensively. You want to see some dribble penetration from Niles North. They have the ball handlers to do it.
Will Coach Olson call a timeout here and a foul here on Silverstein? For Sam, that's his third. 25-6, New Trier has outscored the Vikings here in this fourth quarter. For Silverstein, his fourth.
Demaria Franklin, 68% free throw shooter on the year. Here's Kirkpatrick again, lulling Claiborne to sleep. Strength, finish, tie ball game.
One in the bonus time here for Franklin. He's 1 of 2 from the foul line tonight. He rattles that one in.
That's one of those sigh of relief makes for Franklin, knocking that down.
Niles North timeout for Franklin. That's only his 4th point of the game, but it's his biggest point of his career.
What's the old Shaq saying? Don't tell me how many you made. Tell me when you make them.
Game of the week closes out coverage of this Maine East 4A sectional with the championship matchup. Tune in on Saturday, March 10th at noon and 4 p.m. to see who will advance to the super sectional round. You can catch the game later in the week in high definition, on demand under Get Local, CN100, and then Game of the Week. X1 users, look for Get Local under the Xfinity Services tab. And Cameron, what do you see out of this final 21 seconds here?
Well, this timeout for the Vikings was a dual timeout. It's a make or miss. So I'm sure that Coach Olson in that huddle was saying, after Demaria makes this free throw, we're going to set up this defense. If you're Scott Fricky, you're telling your guys, make or miss, we have to get something going to the basket. It will only be a one-possession game depending on what happens on this Demaria Franklin free throw, but you got to believe that Andrew Kirkpatrick will have that basketball. Keep in mind, Spencer Bain is still on this court, so if a missed shot goes up, got to make sure that you're blocking out big number 33 in white.
All right, let's watch it unfold here. Vikings by 1. Two-point lead for Niles North.
Cold-blooded from Franklin.
20 seconds remaining. Here we go. It's Kirkpatrick. Claiborne on him. Andrew drives, off-balance shot. He banks it in! We're tied at 61, 4 seconds to go. Stevenson for the win! No! We're headed to overtime! Oh, my! It looked like that was going in, Cameron. Let's take another look first at the heroics of Kirkpatrick.
My question to Andrew is how? How did you make that going right, defender right in your face? You're leaning right, and to kiss that off the glass at that angle is almost impossible. Stevenson on the other end got a great look from 3, just rimmed out. Welcome to a new ball game. It's overtime. Whatever happened in the first 4 quarters, that's erased. This next 4 minutes will be crucial for both teams.
We'll step aside and come back for the overtime period, tied at 61. This is the CN100 Game of the Week.
You're watching the Comcast Network. CN100, Chicago.
Join CN100 Sports for an inside look at the 2017 Mr. Basketball of Illinois, Mark Smith. Follow his improbable journey at Edwardsville High School from a baseball diamond to earning the greatest individual basketball award in the state. Get to know the Fighting Illini's freshman guard in this Sports Weekly special. Go to cn100.tv for a list of airtimes or view this program anytime with Xfinity On Demand. X1 users scroll over to Xfinity Services and select Get Local.
Welcome back to Maine East High School. This sectional semifinal is going to 4 extra minutes. We're heading to overtime.
Well, I talked about this when we started the second half about people leaving out because they thought the game was done. I saw the same thing with about a couple of minutes left in the fourth quarter, people leaving, and I'm sure they get a text or a call from a friend like, dude, the game is tied. We're going to overtime. Get back into Maine East High School.
Ball goes out of bounds to the Vikings. In that fourth quarter, New Trier outscored Niles North 27-8 to tie this one up. What an effort by Fricky's Trevians. Scott looking for his 200th career win. Steal by Silverstein, and now we got a held ball. Silverstein and Claiborne, and it's a held ball possession arrow going to the Trevians.
How big has Silverstein been at the top of that 1-3-1 zone, Mark?
Yeah.
We've seen so many deflections and steals from him in this second half. They are just leaving their heart on this court.
Oh, and again, we've mentioned this a couple times, they're doing it without Rabel. And now the 3 officials are talking things over. You see them in the right-hand part of your screen.
There was a held ball possession.
Maybe that's what they're talking about here.
Remember that jump ball resulted in just ball out of bounds on New Trier.
Yeah, it is going to be a New Trier ball. The winner here gets Evanston on Friday night for a sectional championship.
And that's what's been creeping in the back of my head with this. As great as this game has been, it's in overtime. How much will either team have, whoever wins this game, how much will they have for Friday against Evanston?
Free ball by Samuelson. Bain battling for it. Silverstein got the loose ball. Inside to Bain. Bain puts it on the floor. Back out. 3 ball. Ryan. No.
Look at Silverstein.
And it's Claiborne that got it, but he traveled.
Claiborne trying to tightrope that sideline. Got caught traveling.
43 seconds into this overtime period. No one has scored yet. We're still tied at 61. Samuelson holding, guarded by Butler. Good pressure by Butler, and a timeout. Fricky calling a timeout as he anticipated Samuelson was perhaps going to get the 5-second call, and Fricky calls a timeout. 30-second timeout taken by New Trier. Well, Villanova's Jalen Brunson, simply one of the country's top collegiate basketball players, and he's certainly the front runner for the NCAA's Player of the Year. In 2015, CN100 sat down with the newly crowned Illinois Mr. Basketball and discovered the work ethic and drive that makes this player great. You can view this program on CN100 or check it out on demand under Get Local CN100 Sports Features. X1 users look for Get Local under the Xfinity Services tab.
Jalen Brunson, USA Today, Men's College Basketball Player of the Year. How about that?
Well deserved.
If he stays at Villanova, I want to call up Rick Brunson immediately and say, what are you guys doing? He has nothing left to prove on the college level. He's a first-round pick and could be a lottery pick depending on the team needs that have those spots.
And he's scheduled to graduate in June.
Yes.
After 3 years.
So credit to his mom, Sandra Brunson, who does an outstanding job with their family.
The drive by Ryan, he missed the layup. Now it's Claiborne and the Vikings. This for the lead. Franklin, no. Silverstein with the rebound.
Well, a lot of three-point attempts for Franklin have been long or hard. So, again, it goes back to the rhythm. He never got into a comfortable rhythm of this ball game, and that's why he's been struggling.
Turnover. Franklin got the steals and tried to get it inside to Bain. Still a scoreless overtime period. New Trier packs it back in. Claiborne at the top. Now he flips it over to Franklin. Franklin out in the corner. Barif Smith, and he stepped out of bounds.
I'll tell you what, Brian Coughlin got very lucky because he closed out too quickly on Barif Smith.
3 turnovers for the Vikings in this overtime period. 2:20 to go in this first overtime period.
Nice.
Reversed by Conahan is good.
Conahan, very deceptive on that layup. I thought he's going to continue his dribble out, and he surprises everyone and just reverses that layup, little Mikan drill.
His second field goal of the game, 63-61, and Franklin gets fouled.
Mario Franklin says, I'm going to force you guys to call a foul on New Trier. Check out this layup from Conahan. That's a little reverse George Mikan on that layup. Finishes off the wrong foot, the right foot with the right hand, and that's just beautiful basketball.
Conahan has just fouled out of the game. He just picked up his 5th foul. 1:59 left. Franklin will come to the line, where he is 3 for 4 from the line tonight.
Remember, Franklin hit 2 big free throws to give Niles North a 61-59 lead with a few seconds left. So he's proven he can make them in pressure situations. Now if you're New Trier, Conahan fouls out, so you lose a quality ball handler that can create for you. Who's going to help Andrew Kirkpatrick out with those responsibilities in the backcourt?
Demarie Franklin. 2 big free throws here with 1:59 to go in the overtime period. Franklin hits the first.
Just gets it done. That's what you want from your seniors. Step up in these moments and come through.
For the tie. 63 apiece. Under 2 minutes to go here in overtime. Kirkpatrick veering to his right. Picks up his dribble. Claiborne comes up on him.
Good job of Griff Ryan coming out to release that pressure after Kirkpatrick picked up the dribble.
Hopping out is Silverstein.
They're looking for Bame inside of that lane.
Now they finally get it to him. Spencer drives baseline, spins, goes up with it, missed the shot. Silverstein got the rebound. 3 ball. Kirkpatrick is off. Rebound Franklin. Franklin ahead, and on the pass, he was fouled by Kirkpatrick. Franklin with 5 rebounds tonight. 1:22 left.
Some people will look at the final stat sheet for Franklin and say, well, he didn't have much of an impact on this ball game. You're wrong.
Yeah.
Defensively, he's come up with big plays, big rebounds, knocked down free throws in crucial moments to try and get this win for his Vikings.
Franklin is 4 for 4 from the foul line here in the 4th quarter. And in this overtime, 4th quarter and the overtime, now he's 5 for 5.
That's not an easy spot to be in, Mark.
No.
At the free throw line, packed gym.
Crunch time.
Career on the line, and it's up to you.
Combined 4th quarter and the overtime, Franklin is 6 for 6 from the foul line.
Well, remember, the first of his 6 free throws kind of rattled in.
Right.
Each free throw got better in the result going through the rim. The last 2 he just switched through.
Vikings by 2.
Nice
inside, and the lay-in is good by Ryan.
Great offensive set from the Trevians. Got Griff Ryan, who we haven't heard from in a little bit. He had a big impact in that 4th quarter, but huge to get him a quick deuce.
14 for Ryan, and we're tied at 65. 1 minute remaining in overtime. Claiborne. And will the Vikings wind this one down? Boy, that's a lot of time.
Yes, it is. 47 seconds left to play.
Yeah. Remember, the start of the fourth quarter, the Vikings led by 19.
You got to be careful if you're Niles North. These passes they're throwing back and forth between Stevenson and Franklin, don't get too lazy. Someone's going to start cheating out.
They have 2 timeouts left, so they can still. Yeah, there's one of them. 28 seconds left. It is a full timeout. They still have 1 timeout left as we take another look at the last bucket by Ryan.
Check out this set. And the great thing about it is that the defenders for Niles North were all pushed up just with the setting and how this offense began. Griff Ryan slipped back door. Great pass from his teammate for Deuce.
Well, we'll see how Coach Olson plays it. Remember, he still has 1 timeout left. Maybe, I'm just putting on my coaching cap here, maybe they'll wind it down to about 14, 13 seconds and take their last timeout and work out playoff.
Well, I could play for you any day, Mark, because that's what I want my coach to tell us if I was on the team, to say, guys, wind this thing down. We have the skilled players. This is what we've worked on all summer long, these individual skills sessions, and for this moment right here. You guys worked on your ball handling. We've worked on finishing at the rim. We've worked on creating contact. It all leads to this moment here. That basketball needs to be in the hands of Demarie Franklin, number 13 in purple, to finish this thing out.
There's the student section from Niles North. They are winded. The cheerleaders still have a lot of energy left, though.
A lot of energy, but I'm sure their voices are gone. Yeah. We're starting to lose our voices up here. Everyone's losing their voices because this is just a great game in IHSA basketball.
Well, tonight's game produced by Andy Zielkowski. Our director, Frank Granito, class of 1990 from Maine East. Frank was telling me before the game how many hours he would spend in the library after each school day.
Yeah, I'm hearing that he was a model student. I'm still trying to find the Frank Granito statue at Maine East. Been a hard time trying to locate it.
Here we go. Whoa, they turn it over. Cameron, you talked about those lazy skip passes. That one went out of bounds.
It came to bite him. You get lackadaisical with your passes, get into a comfort, and then you just overthrow your teammate. Franklin and Stevenson just too careless on that possession. Coach Olson trying to clap up his players because this is a big defensive trip for them.
Now, what does New Trier do? They still have 1 timeout left. 12 seconds to go. Kirkpatrick. 7 seconds. Kirkpatrick fades, puts it up. No! And there's a whistle. There was still time left. There was about 4/10 of the seconds when Mark Cladis blew the whistle, and they're saying, forget it, it's out, it's over. We're going to a second overtime. It was 61 apiece to start the overtime period, so each team scores 4 points, and just to make it official, yes, that's it. It's the overtime period is done, so we are going officially to a second overtime period. You are watching the CN100 Game of the Week. Mark Kruger along with Cameron Smith, Eric Schmidt, and our entire CN100 crew. We'll come back for the second overtime period right after this timeout.
You're watching the Comcast Network. CN100, Chicago.
Oh, how did he get that up there?
Backdoor cut. How about that? Best pass I've seen all year. When you're hot, you're hot. It's old school high school basketball.
Watch Chicagoland's best high school matchups with Xfinity On Demand by selecting Get Local and choosing all HS Sports. For Xfinity X1 customers, scroll over to Xfinity Services and select Get Local.
Welcome back to Maine East High School in Park Ridge as we get set for the second overtime period between New Trier and Niles North.
Well, I'll tell you what, the drive-through lines at Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts and Niles and Winnetka will be filled because a lot of people will be hurting because this is a late ball game, but everyone is getting their money's worth. We're going to feel it in the morning. We'll feel it in the morning, but right now it feels great.
I'll be stopping at a Walgreens to get some throat lozenges. All right, Bray Boy back into the game. He'll jump center against Marie Smith. Second overtime period underway here at Maine East. Just one field goal attempt in that overtime period for Niles North. 4 turnovers in the overtime period as well.
And how about this? Kieran Brayboy is back in this game.
Yeah.
Remember, he went down with that leg injury in the third quarter. Stevenson lines that up, doesn't get it to go. That basketball is going to stay with the Vikings, but Brayboy injured that right leg in that third quarter, set out the rest of the second half in that first overtime. Now he's back.
Boy, it cannot be loose. It's going to be tough for him to be out there.
Yeah, he was on the bench trying to warm it up, move it around, stretch it out, anything he could to get it warm, and that's going to be a foul. And smart move from Franklin.
Yeah.
Very high basketball IQ on that drive.
Took it right to Brayboy.
You know he's been sitting on the bench, body's a little stiff, so you attack him right away. That first step on Franklin is one of the best in the state of Illinois.
Franklin 7 of 8 from the foul line. He's been getting it done for the Vikings to break the tie here in the second overtime period, and he does.
How many times do we hear people talk about sports is more mental than physical? You're watching an example of that right now from this young man at the free throw line.
Hits them both. He's got 11.
Struggled all night with his offense.
Yes.
But when it came crunch time and he was put at the free throw line to keep his team within his game, he made them all.
9 of 10 from the foul line for Franklin tonight. 2-point Vikings lead. 3.5 left here in the second overtime period.
Remember, Brian Conahan fouled out in that first overtime.
Inside to Brayboy, half hook, no good. Rebound Stevenson.
Yeah, he just doesn't have a rhythm.
Yeah.
He's been on that bench for too long, obviously nursing that injury. So it's going to take him a couple of more trips to feel comfortable out here.
Claiborne getting it inside. They whip it out in the corner. Maurice Smith for 3. Nope. Tapped around. Loose ball taken by Stevenson. Franklin lost control. Got it back. Stevenson faked the 3 and he walked.
It's a great catch from the officials. Stevenson moved that right pivot foot as he was putting that ball down.
Boy, it has to be a tough decision for Coach Fricky what to do with Kieran Brayboy. I mean, he's one of your premier players, but you know he can barely walk out there, but you want him on the floor.
I'm sure the conversation was had between them both, and Fricky looking in the eyes of Brayboy saying, "Are you sure you are ready?" And you know Kieran, he's a tough guy. He's not going to tell Coach Fricky, no, I'm not, sit me out. He wants to play. He wants to help his teammates out. He's felt that he sat too long on that bench. He feels that he can go, so Coach throws him back in.
Nice defensive play by Maurice Smith to knock it out of bounds. Ryan with the glass. Boy, he has done a great job with that move. 16 for Griff tonight, and we're tied at 67.
Unsung all season long, and he continues that tonight. Griff Ryan has been impactful for New Trier.
Uses that glass beautifully off the drive. Shot by Claiborne is off the mark. Kirkpatrick got the loose ball.
Well, we've seen Claiborne come back down to earth after that great 3 quarters we've seen him play.
Each team with an extra timeout in the second overtime period, so each team now with 2 timeouts. Under 2 minutes to go. Ryan whips it inside. Silverstein missed. Put back by Brayboy. Counted, and he was fouled.
Well, I mentioned it was going to take a few more trips for Brayboy to feel comfortable. Now he's comfortable. Check out Brayboy's pursuit of this basketball off the Franklin block. Great timing from Franklin, but there's Brayboy into your screen. Gets hit on top of the head, and he finishes with the left.
His first point since the third quarter.
You got to do a lot more than just that to stop a 6'9" man in Kieran Brayboy.
Looking for point number 19. He got it. A 3-point lead for the Trevians, 1:50 left.
And the pressure is back on Niles North, who doesn't have a field goal in these 2 overtimes. Their points have come off all free throws, and that's been the product of mostly from DeMario Franklin.
Claiborne and a steal by Ryan. Another turnover for the Vikings. Boy, Ryan has come up huge, as you mentioned, Cameron.
Yes, he has.
Boehm now on the dribble. Spencer picks up his dribble and he calls a timeout.
Smart move from Spencer Bain.
Yeah, Franklin was all over him. Spencer, not the guy you want handling the ball 25 feet away from the bucket, and he wisely calls a timeout.
Well, I've called Spencer a senior. He's really a junior, but he plays like a senior because he's just so heady. Check out the pass from Griff Ryan. Silverstein doesn't get it, but there's Bray Boy again. Pursuit of that basketball and gets that and one.
Well, it's a 3-point New Trier lead in the second overtime period. And if I would have told you that at the end of the third quarter, when the Vikings were leading 53-34, you would have told me I was crazy. Niles North in the 2 overtime periods, 0 for 4 from the field, 6 turnovers. New Trier, not 1 turnover in the overtime periods.
For those at home watching this broadcast, take out a pen and paper or bring out your phones really quick and write down these numbers. At the end of the first quarter, Niles North 16, New Trier 6. End of the second quarter, Niles North 33, New Trier 20. As Mark mentioned, at the end of the third, the Vikings were up 53-34, and then things changed in the fourth quarter.
You think?
And we went to overtime, tied at 61.
Incredible resiliency by this New Trier team. Win, lose, or draw, man. These guys have battled.
Yes, and I'm sure they've already earned the respect of their opponents, but you give even more respect to them now, seeing them battle. This is something they'll talk about for years to come.
All right, Ryan gets it into the backcourt to Kirkpatrick. Kirkpatrick, oh, he tried to bounce pass it. Kicked ball. It was Franklin who kicked it, so it'll be New Trier ball.
Claiborne telling the officials that Kirkpatrick is pushing off with that off arm. If I'm the official, I'm telling Claiborne, hey, just keep him in front and maybe he won't have to push off.
Bill Silverstein, now he gets double teamed. Wide open, Bame underneath, and he puts it in.
Great patience from Bame off the catch, squared himself up and finished strong.
The lead is 5, a 5-0 run. Remember, it was tied at 67. Barif Smith puts it in.
Very nice move from Smith.
First bucket for Niles North in either overtime brings the Vikings to within 3. Timeout, Niles North.
And the beautiful thing about that Vikings possession, Mark, they didn't panic. They didn't look at the scoreboard and say, oh man, we're down 5. Let me shoot a quick 3. This is a quick recognition from Claiborne over to Barif Smith. Look at that up fake. Saw Smith, Barif Smith cutting down the lane, and he finishes very nicely on the right side.
Boy, you hear this all the time, but it's really a shame that someone has to lose this game. The way these guys have battled and just have fought so hard. There's our hard-working crew. Our technical director tonight, Josh Pellett. Our audio coordinator, Dale Van Duzer. Our programming manager tonight, Rich Forsman, engineer Dan Lee. Our entire CN100 crew, what an effort.
Well, we talked about the toughness of these two teams. We got to give a shout out to our crew and their toughness. They've been battling. Our camera guys, our grips, our guys in the truck, and some members of our crew have a 5 a.m. crew call tomorrow
for another shoot.
Downtown for another shoot.
And then we'll be back here on Friday night again.
So that's the real toughness right there.
Yeah, great job.
Always doing a great job.
Special thanks to our statistician, Nick Pinto, for the great job he's done tonight. Eric Schmidt, Cameron Smith, Mark Kruger, we're so glad that you have tuned in to this semifinal. Get it into Ryan, back to Silverstein.
Good job of
Under
breaking
a
the
minute
pressure.
to go.
Sorry about that, Mark. Good job of breaking the pressure by the Trevians.
Silverstein, and there's the foul. Well, Smart with a little contact, and Aquan, I agree, he didn't foul him that hard, but there was still some contact, and it's the sophomore's 4th.
Yeah, Glenn Olson is looking over at the official saying, what did he do wrong? Where did the foul occur?
Silverstein's first trip to the foul line tonight.
72% free throw shooter on the year for Sam.
Well, he'll have one more. It is still a 1-possession game. How big is this free throw?
Huge. And then the blockout assignments for the Vikings. Who's pinching, who's taking shooter?
It's a 2-possession game. Silverstein hits the second free throw. 73-69. Niles North has one timeout left. 3-ball by Stevenson is off. And Silverstein comes away with it. Niles North not fouling. I'm not sure why. 37 seconds. And they still haven't fouled. And they get the steal. Oh my, Claiborne. Claiborne for three. He hits. Oh my. Timeout, Niles North. I thought they were trying to foul Ryan. The officials didn't call it. They got the steal. Claiborne buries the triple.
Well, the officials are letting these guys play, and there was no foul.
No.
There was no foul there. Great job with the officials letting these guys play. Claiborne knocks down the deep three.
It's a one-point game. Great defensive pressure. And look at Claiborne.
Steps in, buries it. 1-point game. Student section for Niles North still litty right now. They can feel the comeback coming.
Well, Claiborne, I've got him now with 22 points. He had 12 at halftime.
And we hadn't heard much from Claiborne scoring the basketball besides those first 3 quarters.
And how about the confidence, Cameron? He did not hesitate at all.
And he had Franklin right in front of him in that left corner and elected to pull up.
Oh, my. So now, Niles North out of timeouts. New Trier has one left. It's New Trier ball and a 1-point lead for the Trevs.
I'm sure the instructions from Glenn Olson for the Vikings was to get a quick trap. If you don't get a steal, we have to foul. Go for the basketball.
All right, here we go. Silverstein gets it into Kirkpatrick. Double team, and it's stolen! The drive throws up a wild shot. Kirkpatrick got it back. Oh, my. Oh, my. Claiborne threw up a shot. I thought he was anticipating getting fouled. Boy, what a wild shot he put up. And now a foul at the other end will put Kirkpatrick to the line for 2. Watch this here as Niles North gets the turnover off the double team there. And look at that shot. He just kind of threw it up there. Oh, man.
Yeah, he thought he was fouled by the Trevians. It was actually his own teammate bumping into him.
Right. Kirkpatrick hits the free throw. 2-point lead for New Trier.
No timeouts, as you mentioned, Mark, for the Vikings. So they have to go right away.
How about those 2 clutch free throws? New Trier calls a timeout. It's a 3-point lead for the Trevians. Coach Fricky will decide what to do defensively. 16.5 seconds left.
Now, most players in this situation for the team that's down 3 in Niles North would try and shoot a quick 3. There's 16 seconds left. If you can get something quick to the basket, that would be huge. But remember, high school basketball, that clock doesn't stop if that ball goes through. So at the same time, that has to play in your mind as well. So Glenn Olson might elect to try and go for this 3. Because if you're going the length of the court, you're going to run at least about 6 or 7, and maybe even more, 8 seconds off of that clock. New Trier doesn't necessarily have to take the ball out right away. So they can let a few seconds tick off more.
Now let's say Niles North does make, they allow Niles North to get in and make a layup. And let's say there's 4 seconds left. New Trier doesn't even have to inbound the ball. The clock will wind out.
They can walk off the court and call it a day.
Because Niles North has no timeouts left.
Yes. That's a great point, Mark.
Wow, what a finish.
You got to believe all of those points were being emphasized in both huddles.
I think there's a reason why they call this March Madness, Cameron. What an incredible game.
It's the best time of the year.
And remember, the Vikings have the full length of the court to go here.
Well, if you're Jamal Stevenson, you see Franklin at a half court. How about a baseball pass right to Franklin right now? That would have been a little easier to wind some more, to get something to advance that ball up quicker.
Polycap is into the corner, number 10. Franklin for the tie. No good. Loose ball. Boehm has it. 4 seconds ago, he was fouled. And that just might do it if Boehm can hit 1 free throw. 3 seconds left.
Well, I'm not sure on the full history of Trevian's basketball, but I think this goes down as the greatest comeback in the program's history. Has to be.
Unbelievable. Down 20. Incredible fourth quarter, incredible 2 overtime periods, and now Bain will have 2 free throws.
He just needs one to put the seal on it.
Remember, he's only a 63% free throw shooter.
That would do it.
It is a 2-possession game. By the way, New Trier lost to Evanston in overtime on January 12th and beat Evanston at Beardsley Gym on February 17th, 56-40.
So the rubber match will be set for Friday night.
Yeah. Barring a miracle finish here with just 3 seconds to go. Trevians will head to the sectional final on Friday night. 77-72 in double overtime. It'll be the number 1 seed versus the number 2 seed on Friday night. We'll take a timeout and come back to wrap this one up. From Maine East, it's the CN100 Game of the Week.
You're watching the Comcast Network. CN100, Chicago.
CN100 Sports has long provided you with the best high school sports coverage in Chicago. But don't forget, we've got your favorite professional teams covered as well. From the preseason rallying cry through the playoff run, CN100 Sports is there with exclusive content and interviews from our top coaches and players, not only on the field, but in your community. If you want to see elite Chicago athletes in their prime or long before they become pros, your number 1 source is CN100 Sports.
Hi, I'm Cindy Bravos. On this edition of Community Connection, we welcome Sheridan Turner from Cole Children's Museum, highlight art from Carla Bank, and explore the art behind major court cases with courtroom sketch artist Thomas Gianni. We'll take you on location to relax with sound meditation. Plus, we have Alyssa Gambla making one of her favorite desserts. All this and more on Community Connection. See it here first. Watch this episode and other exclusive stories on Comcast On Demand.
Join CN100 Sports for an inside look at the 2017 Mr. Basketball of Illinois, Mark Smith. Follow his improbable journey at Edwardsville High School from a baseball diamond to earning the greatest individual basketball award in the state. Get to know the Fighting Illini's freshman guard in this Sports Weekly special. Go to cn100.tv for a list of airtimes or view this program anytime with Xfinity On Demand. X1 users scroll over to Xfinity Services and select Get Local. Relive the fun and excitement from the 2018 Cubs Convention with CN100 Sports. Starting with Cubs Community Service Week and capped off with the 33rd Annual Cubs Convention. Hear from members of the organization and their diehard fans as CN100 Sports gets you ready for the upcoming season on the north side. Check out cn100.tv for airtimes or view this program anytime with Xfinity On Demand by selecting Get Local and choosing CN100. X1 users scroll over to Xfinity Services and select Get Local.
Welcome back to Maine East High School. In double overtime, the New Trier Trevians down 20 points at one time, come back to win it by a score of 77-72. So they will move on to the sectional finals on Friday night to take on the number 1 seed, the Evanston Wildcats. Let's take a look at our CN100 play of the game. It came in the second overtime period, just under 2 minutes remaining. Huron Brayboy on a bad leg is going to get the offensive rebound here off the miss by Silverstein. Actually had a block, but Brayboy with the putback, the hoop, and the harm that put New Trier up 69-67, and they would go on to win by 5. That is our CN100 play of the game, and it came by Huron Brayboy. What an effort by him playing on a bad leg. As we send it down courtside to Eric Schmidt. Eric.
Well, we just saw the highlights, and here he is right now. If you can look down, well, you can't. He's in ice on the ankle. You went out in that third quarter. What did you have to tell Coach Ricky to get back into that game in overtime?
It is our last game. It's win or go home, and that's the end of the season, so I might as well just go play and give it a try. There's nothing like I can't do, and I just wanted to win so badly. I love the seniors so much, and it would just hurt me so much to not play another game with them. I just want to keep rolling.
You guys erased a 21-point fourth quarter deficit. How did you do that at that point?
That was insane. I don't know how it happened. Everyone on the bench thought we were going to lose, and we just kept chipping away, kept locking out on defense, and we got it back into the game with a lot of hustle plays and transition back shit from steals. It's great.
Well, you did a great job in the first 3 quarters, and then to guys like Kirkpatrick and Ryan really stepped up in the 4th quarter, that first overtime. Talk about the outside game. We knew we were going to see the post play, but what about the 3-point shooting and the driving we saw?
Our 3-pointer was pretty dry in the first 3 quarters, so we made up for that by getting it inside. But then when I went out, we had to go to other options, and they really came in clutch and hit the 3-pointers. I mean, they're definitely capable of it. We work on it all the time in practice. They maybe went last resort, and they knew they could do it, and they will pull it off.
3rd time you've seen this team. What was different in this game?
Well, the first game, it was pretty even. It was pretty even in this game, other than when we went down 16 in the first quarter, and then we kind of just chipped back away at that. We were up most of the game in the first game, and then it was tied just like this game, and I hit a buzzer beater in the Niles North first game. The second game, we came off like 5 games in 1 week. We played Maine South, Evanston, Racine Park, and then Niles North, and it was just our bodies were destroyed, and it was a tough game to play, and we weren't mentally ready for that game.
You've seen Evanston already. You guys split with Evanston. I know you haven't had any time to even think about Evanston at this point, but are you excited to see another CSL foe?
I'm really excited to play them. We previously to that win we had like a month ago, we hadn't beaten them in like 5 years, so we got to give it to them twice this year.
Well, good luck. I don't know if you can have another emotional game like this, but I know you guys are going to do your best. You got to ice yourself, get yourself ready to go.
Thank you very much. In double overtime, New Trier comes away with the victory 77-72 as we take a look at the updated brackets here, of course, and there you see on the right-hand side, number 1 Evanston Township against number 2 New Trier. 3rd time those teams will have met this year. It'll be the rubber match, and you can't ask for anything better, Cameron, 1 versus a 2.
If you're coming to this game Friday night, get here early. I'm talking 3 hours before the game, and you might think that that's absurd, but it's going to be jam-packed. I wouldn't be surprised if Maine East brings out more portable bleachers on that opposite baseline and pull that blue tarp up so they can fit more fans into this sectional championship Friday night.
Cameron, it's been a heck of a game. We'll see you down the road, pal.
Looking forward to it.
Tonight's game between the Trevians and the Vikings was brought to you by Xfinity. Get the internet speed and TV channels you want at a price you'll love. Find out how to get up to 5 lines of unlimited nationwide talk and text at no extra cost with Xfinity Mobile. Call 1-800-XFINITY today. So for our entire CN100 crew, for Eric Schmidt, Cameron Smith, Mark Kruger saying so long from Maine East, New Trier knocking off Niles North in double overtime by a score of 77-72. This has been a Comcast Network sports presentation. So long, everybody.